Reporting live emergency news. Okay, just kidding. It's not an emergency, but it's pretty important and it's kind of a big deal. Hey guys, it's Andy. How could you forget? I literally don't shut up. Welcome back to Tampa Bay Activist Network City Council Watch. This episode, we have Megan and Tori, insert applause, and like a little bit like lights too. With like something dancing there. I don't know how to do that. Megan and Tori have an awesome episode coming up for you. Instead of you guys having to watch that presentation on the budget from Mayor Castor, you get to hear it summarized by us. Sit tight. We've got an amazing episode for you. And if you want to see more from us, like, subscribe. You guys have to stay in the know. Well, what's happening? Come on, Barbara, let's go. And if you're wondering what that is, that's just my sleep paralysis demon. Ignore her.
Welcome back. It's me, Megan, she, her, hers with Tampa Bay Activist Network. Listen, I know it's been a while, but this is a grassroots project, so sometimes there will be pauses. We haven't forgotten about you though, and we actually need your help. So let us know in the comments below what content should we focus our energy on the most. We wish we could cover it all, but anyway, drop it in the comments. Tell us what you want to see.
It really has been a while, but I know y'all haven't forgotten me. It's Tori, she, her, hers with the Black Collective Movement of Tampa. And I know you all also haven't forgotten my words of wisdom, which is to like, comment, subscribe, share this with a friend. Make sure that you keep up to date with everything happening in your city.
Okay, so wow, we are in this part of the year already. Budget season. In case you missed it, on Thursday, August 5th, Mayor Jane Castor did her budget proposal for fiscal year 2022. The budget will then be voted on by City Council in September.
That means it's crunch time. It's time to get involved at every level. We need you, your family, your friends, your neighbors, that random person on the street that you probably owe a favor to. We need everyone in Tampa contacting our City Council members to make sure that our voices are heard about the budget priorities.
Last year, the people spoke. Defund the police and refund the community was an almost universal message in public comments and at protests. People got hit by cars to get this message out, and that's how important it was. That cannot be in vain. The People Safety Coalition surveyed the community, and it's clear that a good majority, 94% of our respondents, have a different vision for Tampa's future.
Although the ranking and priority does differ, particularly along class and racial lines, the vast majority imagine in Tampa where the budget reflects our values. While the conversation about police abolition is key, we know it will happen in steps. We first have to work together to create resources and build communities that rely on care, not cops. The budget is one of the key tools to ensure that we can accomplish this.
That means a focus on job guarantees. Yeah, I said guarantees. A focus on universal childcare, a focus on investing in Black and Indigenous businesses, and a strong focus in accessible housing should be the budget priorities. It's not just what our survey respondents said, it's what the people said throughout all of the various meetings City Council had last year.
On top of that, the people largely called for Tampa to invest in an autonomous, unarmed, first responder program that mirrors Cahoots in Eugene, Oregon. We want a program ran by marginalized communities in the Tampa Bay area that uses de-escalation, care, and consent instead of handcuffs and guns. Despite the shared demand from all walks of life, the city has instead implemented a co-response program. Yeah, co-response, as in social workers coming to you with a bunch of uniformed gunmen. That makes a lot of sense.
Right. Instead of creating trust, a co-response program is only going to create additional distrust. Now, Black, brown, immigrant, trans, queer, and or disabled communities will not only distrust cops, but they'll also distrust mental health workers more than they may already have if they are accompanied by a gunman.
We don't understand why City Council and Mayor Disaster don't get it. Like, they don't get it at all. But maybe if enough of us are calling them consistently, they will listen. It's at least worth giving it a shot.
Okay, so the budget. Mayor Castor did her presentation, and how did she stack up on the areas of demand? Let's look at developing and supporting Black and Indigenous businesses.
The city has a budget for minority business development, so they call it. I have good news though. We are seeing an increase in this area. I could see how that kind of goes in line with supporting local Black and Indigenous businesses. But here's the bad news. The increase is not really that impressive in the big scheme of things. Last year, we funded this area at just around $951,000. We've bumped it up in 2022 to about $1 million or so.
Considering how small businesses got in serious trouble last year due to COVID, I'm really not impressed with that little bump. We know that Black Indigenous businesses struggle more than white-owned small businesses, and yet all the businesses were struggling last year. So by the math we already know, if all businesses are suffering, Black and Indigenous businesses got the brunt of it. So how about we throw some more money in that?
Well, let's not be too hard on the city council. Maybe, just maybe, they've invested an exuberant amount of money in childcare. Imagine, if you dare, follow along if you can, a Tampa where every parent, regardless of their income, could put their children in quality, locally owned childcare centers in their neighborhood. Think about all the opportunities that could be given to parents, especially single parents. Right now, childcare is so costly. Look at the Economic Policy Institute's calculations here. The numbers speak for themselves.
Well, so two-parent, two-child home in Tampa would need $77,000 to meet all of their basic needs in this city. Yikes. Viewers, how are you holding up?
For 2 children, it's over $11,000 annually for childcare. $11,000 and 2 children. What do you think families of 4 could do if they had an extra $11,000 to spare? Imagine all the local events and businesses they could participate in. Think about all the local restaurants they could enjoy and the investments they can make in their children's futures with that money. Plus, if they have no childcare worries, they have more opportunities to find employment. If you're not following me so far, I'm saying that investing in universal childcare is investing in our economy as a whole.
Right. Okay, so I do follow you. So how much is the city investing in a universal childcare program?
From what I've seen.
Okay, I'm getting anxious, Tori. What is it? Just tell me. Say it, lay it out.
Wait, okay. I figured it out. It's not a decrease.
Okay, that's good, right?
It's more like it stayed the same. Like it was $0 last year, and then it's $0 again. So
wow. Okay, now hear me out. The city will tell you that's the county. They'll refer you to the Head Start program. Okay, so look, we're not knocking on Head Start. Lots of parents benefit from the program, but it's a restrictive program.
The Head Start program is only available for children until they're 5 years old. So what are you supposed to do after? I know what you're thinking. Put them in school. But that's only a solution for part of the year. Most elementary schools get out around 2 p.m., if even. Most parents and guardians aren't only working until 2 p.m. We need a program that will see older children and actually give parents the flexibility that they need.
On top of that, Head Start requires you to be at or below the 100% federal poverty line. When we have limitations like this, parents and guardians are often forced to stay in low-paying jobs.
Exactly.
This is because if they accept promotions, they'll go above the 100% level, but yet still not make enough to cover the cost of childcare. This keeps those in poverty deeper in poverty as they are forced to forgo opportunities. It creates an even more invisible glass ceiling for people in poverty, which is overwhelmingly non-men, Black, brown, gay, trans, queer, immigrant, and or disabled. Do you see what I'm getting at?
We basically are urging Tampa to become a trendsetter. No, I don't mean with awful, poorly drawn block the blurb murals. Instead, we could create a universal child program and make it available to everyone in Tampa, not just those in poverty. A voucher program could be created and it could be used at locally owned child care facilities. And this way, local businesses thrive and local parent and guardians are able to spend time in the workforce. It's a multifaceted solution that ensures every parent, rich or poor, can invest in the quality child care at any age of their child.
Okay, so we are striking out, Mayor. Another area of focus our survey showed a strong interest in was jobs. The city would create their own version of what is known as a job guarantee. Policy experts could fine-tune the particulars, but imagine if the city had guaranteed jobs. It could be as simple as the odd jobs around City Hall, in the mayor's office, and other city buildings. Cleaning bathrooms, doing a punch-out list, light painting, data entry, answering phones, what have you. Park cleanings, so on and so forth. But the city could guarantee jobs to X amount of Tampans each day based on what's available in the budget.
If Tampa started a jobs guarantee program, they'd be a pioneer in this field. If they can't figure that out, then maybe we could do a universal basic income program. Something that puts money in the hands of everyday people like you and I. When I have money to spend, I go out and do things. Let me tell you something. I go out and I do things. Okay? I see places, I eat great local food, and think about it. I really don't think I have to explain it much further, but I think you all see what we're getting at.
Right. Okay, so I'm looking at the budget here, and the development and economic opportunity area actually got a decrease. From last year's $1.6 million, it is now funded at $1.4 million. So not a major decrease, but a decrease nonetheless.
So, let me get this right. We have a minute increase in minority development, a awful decrease in economic opportunity in general. I just feel like I already knew there was no reason to even think that I would be impressed by whatever Miss Castor decided to show us.
And by the way, a few days before this budget presentation, the People's Safety Coalition sent a letter co-signed by the Restorative Justice Coalition, Sustainable Souls of Tampa Bay, and Food and Water Watch to all 7 city council members and the mayor. So it's safe to say no money was spent in a cahoots-like program. Last year, Councilmember Dingfelder motioned for $1 million to be allocated into some kind of mental health program. We were cautiously optimistic for a moment last year that perhaps we would see the beginning of an autonomous program. But, as we mentioned earlier, autonomy is out of the question. The city is developing a co-response program, and that will be utterly worthless. See?
Our demands were based on survey results by people like you. By the way, we're still taking responses, so be sure to find the link down below or up in that little icon up there and tell us your thoughts.
So let's talk about something kind of heavy on our hearts. So when we talk about accessible housing, we include renters in that dialogue. Renters are often left out of the conversation, but luckily, both Tampa and St. Pete have seen the formation of local tenant unions. You can find them on Instagram at Tampa Tenants and at SP Tenants Union. We'll also put a link in the description. We aren't affiliated with them, but we are down for the cause.
Miss Connie Burton, an East Tampa champion, has been having the housing conversation for a long time. It's a simple concept. Every human being deserves quality housing. No paint chipping, a working AC, floors and ceilings with no cracks, quality housing.
Yet too many people in Tampa are confined to unacceptable and frankly inhumane conditions, especially in East Tampa.
On top of that, think about the impact of COVID. Rent in Tampa is already expensive as hell. But with job losses and reductions in 2020, rent has become harder to even pay. Although the eviction moratorium has been extended to many, it isn't rent forgiveness. Millions of Americans, including fellow Tampanians, are subject to eviction when the moratorium ends. Hear this. We will have a houseless crisis beyond our imagination.
Wait, Tori, tell me. With this in mind, City Council has definitely invested in a rental forgiveness program, though, right? That would be the humane and economical thing to do.
Of course they did. It's right here. They invested $178 million.
Oh my God. They invested $178 million in rent forgiveness?
Upon further thought, it says the Tampa Bay Police Department. Not rent forgiveness.
Well, last year they did what? $175 million-ish?
Yep. So TPD got another increase. I mean, why wouldn't they? Use of force is up against civilians 24%. Police officers are spending money at a night out in strip clubs. An entire year of police violence in 2020 that's still continuing, taking the lives of Jonas Joseph and Dominique Mulkey, and of course they get another raise. Why wouldn't they?
I mean, at least Chief Dugan is retiring. I guess it's not a win, though. This means he gets to have a clean legacy with TPD. Last year, we called for defund the police and dump Dugan. Love to watch him go, but damn, I wish we had been the reason he was leaving. It can feel frustrating, I know, but this doesn't mean we're losing, okay?
If anything, we're just getting started. Last year, Councilmember Citro didn't even blink an eye when the People Safety Coalition stepped onto the scene, but they're scared now. This year, his staff reached out to us to have a meeting, and we had it. What I'm saying is, we weren't on his radar last year, but with all the collective noise we've made, and with your help in particular, he knew that he couldn't just ignore us this time.
And even though TPD got an increase, it's a much smaller increase than last year. Despite this, it still accounts for almost 37% of the city's budget, and the majority of the city's budget. For perspective, the fire department allotment is only 23% of the budget. Parks and Rec is only around 11%, and neighborhood enrichment is just under 3%. Why are we investing so much in policing and not so much in building up communities?
It really does say a lot when you look at it, but listen, we're tired of hearing our voices. They need to hear your voices. Call your city council members. Trust me, a phone call goes a long way. Let them know what you want to see. Childcare, jobs, investment in marginalized businesses, cahoots. Make sure they know where you stand.
And get ready to make public comment at the 2 September budget hearings. We need you to register your comments about the budget priorities you deserve. There's a power in numbers, so stay alert. We'll advise you of the budget hearing dates when they come.
In the meantime, like we already said, be sure to contact your city council members. Just do this one task and you'll make a world of difference in Tampa. Even if you don't live in Tampa and you're seeing this video, call and demand on behalf of us. People need to know that other people also see this as an issue in our city.
Absolutely. Housing, renters relief, job guarantees, investment in marginalized businesses, cahoots-like programs. Those are important budget priorities. We don't need more cops. We don't need more handcuffs. We don't need more spying. We need community care.
All right. That's our show for today, you all. I'm counting on you all to do your thing. Make sure that you contact your city council members. It's Tori Brown with Black Collective Movement. It's a pleasure as always. See you next time.
And I'm Megan, she, her, hers, Tampa Bay Activist Network, and we'll be in touch. Subscribe and please share.